feel the world is broken? Do you feel the shadows?
Hello everyone. I'm by names of Arthur Natukunda, and I'm grateful again for this other upload and this video you're making. I was reading my Bible and came across this verse. I think it's gonna make some meaning. It's Genesis chapter 4 verse 1. It says, "Now Adam knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have acquired a man from the Lord." I think I'm going to add on verse 25, which says, "And Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son, named him Seth, for God has appointed another seed for me instead of Abel, whom Cain killed." So what I'm going to talk about is now Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain. For a long time we've been hearing about various people speaking about marriage, and some of us think marriage is when you enter that, you go with the girl down the aisle, and then you get married and you take vows in church and whatsoever. However, I want to disagree a little bit with that concept. Heaven will never call you husband and wife because of walking down the aisle or the rings and the vows which most of us take at some times, or even making the big huge weddings and whatsoever. Acknowledgement of husband and wife comes when you sleep with a woman. That's the reason as to why in the Old Testament they could never take a lady as the wife of the guy until she sleeps on that bed with that guy, and they bring a mattress with the blood stains to confirm that the person has slept with, their husband and wife. So the bond of husband and wife starts at the moment when you sleep with a girl. That's the reason as to why very many spiritual beings fight a lot to sleep with the human beings, all in the context of the dreams. Most of us, as we hear spiritual women and spiritual husbands, this is the major reason. They are acknowledged as the wives, or as the, as the husbands of certain people in the spiritual life. So I don't know how many people you have slept with. It may demarcate the number of wives you have. However, it's a covenant. Sex ideally is a covenant. And beyond the normal covenant is a spiritual covenant. So if you've slept with very many ladies, I tell you the truth, you have very many covenants. That's the reason that's why some of the people sleep with women and then they later complain, "I slept with her and I became poor, I became this." Why? That's the reason. When you sleep, the burdens you have and the burdens she has, they get together, and guess what? You can share burdens you never wished to be, or you never had in your life. So at certain times, I don't know how many people you've slept with. I don't know, some of the people have never slept with the women, but it takes courage, or it takes even some spiritual prayers to break the bond. If you've done it, or if you've done it, or you, or me, or anyone else, if you've done it and you've gone into it, then you just take the step of prayer. God is willing to forgive and make you a better person and a better version of you. And you break the bond of the spiritual women so that you can get to the point of your marriage when a spiritual is sanctified for one woman to carry only the burdens of one woman. I think that's what today I'm going to share about, and that's what today I'm going to talk about. That's the ideology of marriage. Marriage in context in the spiritual affair is when you sleep with a woman, and that bond must be shared. It goes beyond what most people put on condoms and whatsoever. It goes beyond that. That's the reason I think for God creating sex, and it creates a common bond, as in a very great virtually bond of a person to the other. But that's the reason. It's a, I would have called it a virtual, but it's not virtual, it's a reality. It's a reality. So, and it's a spiritual interim beyond our human understanding. Adam came to know Eve as his wife at that actual moment when they slept together. And then that's when they bore the first son, Cain. And maybe later Abel and Seth. So, always the products of that is multiplication of people, or multiplication of beings. And I would not wish you to have the beings you've not called, your uncalled for beings or spiritual beings, but to have the beings you have which have been appointed at the exact time of your life. I think I'll go with that. I remain Arthur. Be blessed.